Roger Moore, Liza Minnelli, Gregory Peck, Walter Matthau, and their spouses and partners made a lot of noise. We were standing. It's like 3 in the morning. And Liza starts singing. Start spreading the news. I'm a-leaving today. This is the tour participation. Everybody. I want to be a part of it. New York, New York. That's Liza Minnelli. A window opens over there that used to be an apartment, and a guy sticks his head out, and this is actually what he said. Why you make so much noise? Who you think you are? Liza Minnelli?
He has been called one of the top Bond experts in the world on nationwide radio, an esteemed member, collector, and writer on the subject of 007 and the GOAT of Bond lore. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the question room, Mr. Matt Sherman of BondFanEvents.com. Welcome, Matt.
Thank you for having me in Dr. Shatterhand's question room. It's an honor to be here, even though I know that Shatterhand's question room has a hot geyser under where I'm sitting. If
That's right.
Know the reference.
Now, I have to admit that I have known you for nearly 30 years on the internet, but it was last September when my wife and I finally met you face to face. Matt, let's get the obligatory questions out of the way. When did you become a James Bond fan? What's your favorite film? And who is your favorite 007 actor?
Those are loaded yet obligatory questions. I remember the first film I ever remember seeing on a television. The whole family was gathered. It was An Earring of Goldfinger. That's actually true. I was 5 years old. The first film I ever remember going to in the theaters was The Spy Who Loved Me. I've been to the films ever since. I've been a Bond fan since age 8 and reading Ian Fleming and then the continuation novel since age 9. And lately I've been really putting on a very high plane License to Kill and Spectre, partially because I visited so many locations from those films and had great relationships with team members and production members and actors from those films, but also just enjoying the heck out of them. And also I've really been enjoying Tim Dalton lately as Bond for the last few years, because to me he's the book Bond, the quintessential book Bond, and he really did his homework for the role.
I kind of agree with you on that one because I've enjoyed Timothy Dalton since he first started playing Bond. I think both his movies are very, very good. I gravitated more towards Roger Moore lately because after the last James Bond movie, No Time to Die, I find retreating to Roger Moore's tends to be more fun. No pun intended on the word more, but that's just the way I see it right now. Now, you and your wife, Janine, both share duties running the James Bond tour group. According to your website, you have visited over 1,900 Bond book and film scene locations on 5 continents. Tell us about some of those places.
Well, first of all, that's not true. I need to update the website. It's now with a count of over 2,000 locations, different scenes from the books and the films, because I'm interested not only going to a movie site, but well, John Gardner had a major event happen here. Janine and I were in Milan in Italy recently on the roof of the Duomo, the famous cathedral. And there's a great shootout there in the book, Never Send Flowers, with David Dragonpole, or was it his evil twin brother? So I really like going to these locations, and I've ticked off a lot of things on my list. Some favorites include lodging where the Bonds or the Broccoli's lodged, like staying in the hotels where they stayed during filming, eating the meals that they ate in restaurants, and just crazy iconic locations. And it's thanks to the groups that we got to go. For example, Professor Joe's Temple Complex in Mexico City. It's a half mile across. It's concrete. It's fabulous. You're in the film. And it's also special with friends. We got to take our friend Alex Groucho there, who played Perez in License to Kill. He hadn't been on the site since 1989. He and I jointly gave a tour of the location, and he started crying. And some of us started crying as well. He hadn't been there since 1989. So it's where you go and who you go with. Going with you and Judy to these Italian locations is wonderful. We had great locations in Rome, Venice, and Siena. So for me, it's everything James Bond, which is exotic travel and great food and great lodging and fun, exciting things. So if I'm at Ghirardelli Square in San Francisco, I'm getting chocolate, but I'm also remembering there's a shootout there in Broken Claw. And if I'm in Blenheim Palace, I know it's the only home in England that gets the official designation palace, even though it's not royal because it's so magnificent. but I'm also rolling on the ground because Hinks is coming after me. I'm at the Spectre meeting. So locations exotic and wonderful.
Like you said before, when you met my wife, I was fortunate enough to go in your last tour to Italy, visiting Rome, Siena, and Venice. I was impressed with the research you did, uncovering trivial information which some of the most diehard fans would never have had the opportunity of discovering. How many hours of research do you think you put in on each city you have visited?
Well, I have to do that research because it's been my privilege to know you on the internet all this time and all the great work that you're doing and all the things that Dr. Shatterhand's Botanical Garden has. So, how am I supposed to make your trip memorable or impress you unless it's to show you a deleted scene location, a draft script location, have an actor come on site and visit with us, take you behind the scenes for access? So, we work very hard on the tours, easily north of 100 hours. We've taken people to 24 cities around the world, different continents. Rome, 100 hours of research, actually more than that. But let's say on the average about 100 hours to go to a city because
I told you no cameras in here.
you're going to go to New Orleans, one of my favorite places, and you're going to think, oh, there's 2 or 3 Live and Let Die locations here. No, there are about 50 in the greater New Orleans area, but it takes 100 hours to suss them all out and figure them all out. So everyone goes to where the funeral scenes were done. Whose funeral is it? Yours. But then I'm going to take you to Eon's production office and 40 other places, but about 100 hours per city.
Which city within the Bond tours is your all-time favorite?
You know, I really like New Orleans. I mentioned on purpose. New Orleans has a vibe. New Orleans is one of the few places where we can convincingly do something very different. A night tour, a haunted tour. So we've taken people to see the city sites as well, but at night down on Bourbon Street, at night down on Charter and Dumaine, as they say, you get to see these Live and Let Die locations by like literal torchlight and gaslight, and it's haunted. It's wonderful. And we mix it up. You're going to see some Bond locations. And I'll be like, here's Brad Pitt's house. Here's Matthew McConaughey's house. Here's where Nicolas Cage was. Here's a haunted thing. Here's where Elvis Presley Jr. was. And then we're also going to see a dozen Bond locations. So New Orleans, unique. People mostly haven't been. It's not like, oh, we're going to London, New York. I've been there. So New Orleans has been a lot of fun. Mexico City, I'm dying to go back there again, thinking about it. It's wonderful. Obviously, we had a great time. I don't know which was your favorite, Rome, Siena, or Venice. You did great videos on all of them, but what was your favorite?
Venice by far, but Siena is a close second. And of course, Rome, every second while I was there, it was just magical. Is there a city you have not gone to yet, but plan to visit soon?
I am a victim of my own mind, and I have spent a long time mapping 50 sites in Vienna, Austria for The Living Daylights and other films. So that's on a list. I've been to about 300 sites in the greater London area, but I have about 1,200 on that London map. You know, it's exciting. It's exciting. And this may sound cliche, but our next tour is coming up, Orlando, Miami, points in between. I'm going to tell your listeners first. About 2 people know this. I finally found all the locations from the Goldfinger Car Pursuit with Odd Job and Felix Leiter. It took me literally 20 years to find all the Goldfinger car chase locations. They don't exist. People don't have them online. Odd Job's going past the supermarket, I think. It's kind of blurry even on the Blu-ray. And where is it? And the supermarket hasn't been in Miami for 60 years. I found it, but there's 4 of the Miami. Which one is it? I finally put the last nail in Bond's coffin. I have all the locations from Goldfinger. You and I will be touring there together in Miami. I'm excited about going back to Miami, and I've been going there since I'm 5 years old. When you love locations and then you're reading a new continuation novel or finding some new news out about Bond, every city becomes magical. Except where I live in Gainesville, Florida, usually, so we got to go elsewhere.
What about conventions, concerts, or museum gatherings in the near future?
Janine and I had the privilege of installing some posters that we made. With your help, one was on the trains of Fleming and Bond in the novels. One is on the trains and monorails of the Bond films, and we installed them at 2 local museums as our gift because they're focusing on the rich area history of trains and training. In the novel Live and Let Die, this is like 15 miles from my house. Bond was on the train, and there was an explosion and a shootout, and things happen. So we're hoping to do a benefit to celebrate Casino Royale's 20th anniversary, show Casino Royale here locally, host the museum as we did when we did the grand opening. So we're going to do a museum show here in Florida, and we're excited about that. I also had a great conversation this week with a friend, and we've been talking seriously about a 20th anniversary Casino Royale something. This would be a very exclusive invitation at a famous location or resort tied to Casino Royale. So I'm excited, and I'm always looking to the next event after this one.
Are you working on any new book on the subject of James Bond?
It's a great question. And I was told again recently at a Bond fan gathering, I need to do a book about the fans, the actors, the collectibles, and all the crap that happens. And I'm mostly not working on books, I'm mostly working on maps. I have been working very hard because it seems like the more locations you find, the more that you tee off of and find even more. And I'm actually going back through continuation novels now to add more locations to the maps. Like, maybe I missed something in Miami or Orlando. Maybe there's some stone that I haven't. And lo and behold, I go, of course, there's a thing from Seafire, the James Bond novel, and it touches Miami, and it goes into the tour. So even if I've toured a city already and I go back, I look for more locations and keep it fresh.
Tell us about how you got involved with the Icons Unearthed series. Did you help provide some of the actors from the films?
I did, and it was a pleasure. Icons Unearthed is Vice Television. Vice Television has gone bankrupt, and I'm hoping someone will pick them up. They were very famous for their amazing Star Wars and other series. These are very in-depth. These are very well thought out. I've never had questions like this in decades of doing these kinds of things. Like, they would call me the producer, the executive producer, and they would say, the third unit director on Dr. No was Bill Smiley, and how do you think you influenced the film? The Icons Unearthed series is worth seeing. It's 6 episodes. It's all transitions. It's one was it Sean, one was it George, one was it Roger, and they're kind of focusing on those. And they used me as their technical advisor, and they said, what kind of talent should we have? So I dropped some names, and those names, about 80% of the people who appear in there, I said, please use my friend, please use my contact.
G'day, mate. My name's Bond, James Bond.
It was an honor to be assisting George Lazenby and his manager Anders through the work, because I pled with Icons to have George on, because I said, George is going to be a fabulous guest, and a wonderful guest at our events. I didn't know that his dementia had advanced that far. I knew he had dementia. This is his last television or movie appearance. So you're going to get about an hour of George in his show. He says really wild, fun things. He's exactly what I told Icons. I said, give him anything he wants for the show, because he's going to be worth it. He's going to be your best guest. Icons Unearthed, they're fans. They love the genres. They love Star Wars. They love Bond. So I've just been really excited to be with this project, and I think it's the best documentary that's come along in about 20 years.
Totally agree. Matt, I would like to wish you continued success on your Bond tours. If anyone is interested in attending Matt Sherman's 007 tours, you can check out his website, bondfanevents.com. Thank you, Matt, for coming to Dr. Shatterhand's The Question Room. It has been a real pleasure.
Thank you. The Question Room is also a pressure for you only of twice fans. It could be dangerous for Bond, but I loved it. I'll be here anytime, and I'm honored to be on one of your first casts for it. Thank you so much.